Welcome to the Scrumptious Woman, and we have the super scrumptious Emma Fullwood, the Yoni Queen, and so much more. We got to chatting this morning. I'm like, no, let's just dive straight in. Emma, thank you for coming on.
My pleasure. I'm here naked underneath this dress, just feeling all kind of loose and flowy this morning. I had my sports bra on and you know that tightness that it all does. And I was like, God, fuck this shit. I gotta get this stuff off.
This is what I love about you. Emma and I have not formally met each other, but through a friend of mine, another coach who's in Brighton, and a friend of yours, she connected us. And then at one point, I just got this feeling, it's like, I gotta reach out. Like, we connected on Instagram, but we didn't really do anything with it. And it was Mother's Day, and I was like, oh, I think you're a mother. And I just kind of like sent her some stuff. And then, I had all these thoughts, and like, oh, fuck, what have I fucked up? Is connection ever fucking up?
No, we need to connect more. Oh my gosh. Yes, we need to connect more.
And then I see you and how just alive and vibrant, and how they're like, fuck the bra, free the nipples. What people may want to say, but they're afraid to say it. And what women are a little bit afraid of. I think when they come in contact with someone like you and someone like me, they're like, whoa, that's a lot.
And honestly, because I was bullied at school, I want everyone to love me and adore me and to fit in, and I never fitted in, which is why I was bullied. This work is actually healing me because women want what I teach and they love what I teach, and they say, I love your energy, la la la, and then they sit on it for quite a long time because it doesn't feel like permission, it doesn't feel safe to go into this work. It feels different. I'm actually trigger so many women, and I do it from a place of love and from a place of this is available to you. I'm a 49-year-old woman. I'm out the other end of menopause, the wonky, bonky, conky mess. Live alone. I've got a 14-year-old boy who just likes to be in the pit of a bedroom now. My life isn't sensual life. It is a busy life, like lots of women. And most of the time I can hear my boy playing whatever game is playing. And I'm trying to tap into my feminine, So if I can do it and I can get over that, oh my God, like, my mom didn't do this stuff. My sister doesn't do this stuff. My friends don't do this stuff. My auntie or whoever in my family thinks I'm balmy, and all I'm doing is trying to live from my body bottom up.
Completely.
Instead of head down. That is all I'm doing. And the feminine wants freedom and space. And we live in this society where that goddamn mind won't shut up.
Right? The mind fuck. They're constantly like, we gotta do this. And then we wonder why we're so tight and why we're over managing him and everyone else in our lives, and why our body is tight, and which probably brings us how you got to doing this, and how a lot of us had to hit like rock bottom, or in one part of, and usually it's the body, because the body just says, hey, wake the fuck up. You're not going to listen, then I'm going to make you stop.
Oh.
What was your story?
Oh, God, did it make me stop? I'm going to keep the story really short, as short as I can. So I'm going to go into when I had my boy, I had pelvic floor issues. I became a pelvic floor specialist in fitness and Pilates, and loved that. And decided to do a bikini competition, where you stand up on stage and you look super fit. And for me, I know, I think it was about 3 or 4 at the time. I was a full-time mom, so I had that privilege, let's say, and that isolation of being a full-time mom, so both. And all of a sudden I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this pelvic floor work and open my own business whilst I was a full-time mom. And then I got into the bodybuilding and decided to do a bikini fitness. To be honest, I thought I had everything. Nice holidays. I had the body, I was known as, Emma, kind of like the body. And for the first time in my life, I felt like I knew how to eat and exercise to give my body that strength and that shape. And that's how then I went into my business, because women would come to me for pelvic floor and core and they'd say, but I've still got this, I've still got jiggles. And because I was the body, I knew what to do. But you'd think as a pelvic floor coach, I was connected to sensuality, let's say. Many people think as a pelvic floor coach, you know, men kind of wink at each other. Oh, she's a pelvic floor coach, you know, she's got a tight one and, you know, she must know what to do with it and all that kind of stuff. And pelvic...
that generalization.
I know. And women always said, oh God, I need that. They would always give me a story of, oh, I leak and da-da-da. So, but in my actual relationship and in my life, I was shut down from my body. And this is what I really want to share. I was a pelvic floor coach, dealt with vaginas all day. I was a body coach in the gym. I was weight loss, body transformation, ran my own business. We had nice holidays. We had a nice house, right? I had it all. And I'm going to say this, my boy's dad said this to me many times. And he said, but there's nothing there. And there was nothing sexual in my body. I didn't want him to touch me. I certainly didn't want him to make love to me unless I'd had a few wines. We both actually became functional alcoholics in our relationship, even though I had the body. Cut a long story short, we decided to split up, and the what happens with that, we split up amicably, and we're really good friends. And trying to run this business and keep going, my body kind of shut down and I was still trying to push. And then all of a sudden we're in lockdown. I'm going through early menopause and I saw somebody on Instagram who was moving her body in a way that I'd never seen before. I was like, I'm a dancer. I'm a fitness instructor. You know, I've done all these different dancing, tap dancing, ballet dancing. I was a professional dancer and I cannot move like that.
What was it, X Factor?
No, it was somebody on Instagram.
Love it.
She actually became my coach, Amy. I can't remember her second name. And she was just moving sensually. She wasn't touching herself.
I got kicked out of Facebook and Instagram because I'm using the word sensuality. That's why we call it scrumptious now, the scrumptious woman. That's why this name. But it's like, oh my God, but that's so sensual. But you're not touching yourself. I'm like, no, and even when I self-touch, it's on the hands or it's on the arms. It's not on the genitals.
Yes.
We can go there, but not online.
Yeah, exactly. I reached out to her and I was like, teach me how to move like that. And she said, it's not actually a class. It's put the music on and you move what's in you. And I was like, I don't understand what you mean. Just give me the steps, give me the, you know, the strategy, whatever, because
right in your head still, the masculine way of like, okay, I can tackle this, I can do it.
It's been a learning process. And now I've perfected doing this work so much, like you said, I can actually breathe sensation into my body, and I call it feminine specific breath work just because there's so much breath work out there and embodiment and somatic therapy. Great, but this is for the woman's body, and all the other stuff, as great as it is, even Pilates, Joseph Pilates, he was a man. You know, Pilates is good for posture and your spine, but none of us are actually in the feminine body, which is actually not in the head. It's actually in this midsection. I kind of, you know, yes, breasts as well, but kind of lower than breasts, into the area that all of us as women contract and hold tight. And it was really interesting that I started as a pelvic floor coach. I mean, I was a fitness coach from 17 years old. But then when I was in my 30s, after my child, I went into pelvic floor.
Because it's so important.
Yeah. And then it's kind of like I was pelvic floor, but I was pelvic floor fitness. I was pelvic floor fixing something wrong. But I knew how she worked. And then I was like, this is the next layer. And
There are always extra layers.
Yeah. And for some reason in lockdown, in this mad chaoticness, I decided to train as a hypnotherapist in trauma-informed hypnotherapy. People were like, why are you doing hypnotherapy? Like, I was like, I don't know. I went down the route of inner child healing and all the stuff that we need. But actually, the way that I use it now is I'm pelvic floor trained. I can drop women using hypnotherapy to really switch off that mind, you know, that overstimulation, that which we need, right? I'm creative. I love hustle, you know? But it's so I can drop into the body and I can literally breathe space into a woman. And the way that I say this is we breathe into the areas that we were told were taboo, that we were told shouldn't be big, like our genitals need to be tight and our belly needs to be small. Yes, I like that in a bikini when, you know, I'm feeling all good about myself. But actually that contracts us, that causes us to bring energy up instead of bringing it down. And then I was like, oh my God, when I do this with hypnotherapy and with my pelvic floor work and embodiment, I started to have in my mid-40s, going through menopause, losing my dad, in lockdown, I started to have full-bodied expansion orgasms, which is zero touch, and orgasms through penetrative sex with no clitoral stimulation or vibrator. And I was like, well, now I am the queen of the yoni. And I was like, there we go. She's been birthed.
I'll come back to a few pieces. What I first want to talk about is orgasm. So I used to lead orgasmic meditation in London, the London branch of it. And how we explain orgasm is like a state of being. It's like the up and the down. And it's not climax, because most people think about like rub, 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 eject for a man, and for a woman, it's like, okay, that quite like that lovely peak. And then you just drop down and you're like, okay, I'm tired now. And orgasm, the way that you're talking about these full body orgasm that's just going through your body, it's like this state of being. It's like exalted states. We can get there with medicine, with sacred medicine, with actually ourselves, our bodies. And this is just so beautiful that it's not a quick fix, like we have to get there, but it's like, oh, and sometimes it just kind of like peters out and you're like, oh, this is mellow.
Yeah, and that's fine and beautiful. And actually, I don't like my clitoris being touched anymore.
I keep telling that to people. I'm like, we live in a society where everything, it's like, let's add sensation. Let's get the lemon or the whatever they're called, the newest vibrator and the clut sucking thing. And it's like, once you get used to that, you desensitize your body. And, you know, even couples in sex, they'll like say, okay, let's put on that fireman's hat. You know, that's kind of exciting. And then the next week it's like, oh, well, can you put on the fireman's hat and the jacket, because oh, now I'm getting off. It's like, and now let's use the lemon, or let's use the vibrator on top of it as well. And oh, can you pull my hair? And it just gets layered and layered and layered. And it's like, can we take all of that away and have really small periods? Maybe we start with 3 minutes or of off the body touch and start to realize what that sensation can bring. And people are like, what the hell are you talking about? I don't get off any other way. I'm like, wait, just wait. Love how similar we are in that. And then you said something else, which is bikini body, tummy, and what you learned from your mom. And I remember, and I wrote about it, is that my mother always used to say, is like tucking your tummy and then pulling your butt cheeks. Where I tell people it's like unclench those butt cheeks, because that's where you hold a lot of tension. But it's like we did not have a role model. And how many of us grew up? I mean, I'm a bit older, I'm 57. But how many, I don't remember growing up with seeing a vivacious woman very much in her body. Maybe Sophia Loren kind of looked like that elegant, gorgeous, slightly older woman that knew how to breathe and just be. For the rest, I don't know.
Yeah, and because I haven't got her body shape, the body is still a journey with me. I've lost both parents, but recently my mom, and put on a little bit of pounds through that and moving house the week after we cremated her, you know, single-handedly. And all the packing up of her house at the same time, and when people say to me it's just not the right time, I'm like, this is the right time, because you can actually go through life in like this orgasmic state of what you said. But yeah, the body is still something that I am working on. I am discovering that my body is saying no to sports bras and no to those tight leggings. Now, I lived in those leggings, and now it's like, get them off. And I've just literally took them off, and it just doesn't feel like home anymore. And what actually feels like home is having this beautiful silk, lacy, not tight, just flowing, and to move around my house when my boy's at school, and I can do that naked underneath. Now, does that mean I look in the mirror and I love my body? No.
That's a good one.
No. And I thought I couldn't do this work, or I thought I was an imposter in this work, because I'm not a woman that looks naked at her body and finds it easy. Do you know the first thing that I do when I look naked is suck the belly in?
So telling that pattern, right? Straight to go to like, criticize the fuck out of yourself.
Yeah, let's stand at the side. Oh, okay, it looks flat today, so that's good. Okay, well, let's be honest, Emma, and actually let it go. It's not flat, is it? You've put on a stone. But what I've decided is I don't have to love my body. And this was so freeing when I could get this. What if some days it's not about loving the belly and appreciating it and touching it and loving the squish? What about if you simply live life through the body and through sensations? Today, for instance, I don't feel that great. I am bloated. I've got, what people call menopause bloat belly, which it is because I ate processed food yesterday. So let's kind of just bank that a little bit. I don't need to touch my belly and hold my belly and look at it in the mirror and look at her. But what I can do is feel free and spacious in my body, and feel my nipples, like the fabric and my nipples stroking each other. Yeah. And feel an openness, because when I'm not contracted, it feels nice to let go, not look at her let go, but feel her let go. And then throughout the day and the stuff that I'm doing today, where I'm putting something together for my business, and I can actually feel what I call the pulse, which is the down there, vagina. I'm not doing Kegels. It's not that. But it's like there's a flutter. There's an energy. There's vibration without a vibrator in there. That's the best way to say it. There's a vibration.
And really, it's like the pulse, and it slightly contracts and it slightly moves, kind of like almost like a butterfly. It could even be the yin yang that's kind of like moving around.
Exactly.
And I so agree with you. And this is where we can be more in our bodies than having to be grateful. And I take people in one of my body programs, I take them through a mirror exercise and just to let it all fucking out, let it rip. EFT tapping, hypnotherapy, the whole thing. And then the next day, it's like, oh, well, this body has had 4 babies and 4 miscarriages and has held my parents as they died and my clients and this. And you all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is a miracle. This body is miraculous.
Yeah.
And I'm in the same way. I've lost half my body weight twice over, and it's been a cycle of up and down, and also very much into trauma coaching, and have helped hundreds of women help them with sexual trauma and just notice what their body was doing. I so understand what's happening cognitively, and yet my body was like, no, putting on weight, exactly like you. I lost my sister, my father, and my mother within 2 years, and then helped others through death. So it was like, whoa, grief is a big one. And all of a sudden you're like 25 kilos heavier than you are normally. And you're like, okay, this is still my body, and I'm not, maybe it doesn't look how I want it to look, but I'm really appreciating how it feels.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like today I was I was sat on my computer, we spoke about this briefly, about to write a landing page for an offer. And you know what? I was tapping away and a little bit of chat GBT, you know, to help me along the way and da-da-da-da. And I thought, oh my God, she's gone. That, you know, she's gone. I had gone through this. I know we have to work. I know we have to do things, you know, but the pulse had gone. And I sat there and I thought, what would it be like to not write this landing page and to do business differently? You know, what would it be like to, and that's when I was sat in my night gear and I was like, right, okay, put the flowy dress on. Okay, great. I didn't even put any music on, you know, it doesn't have to be about dancing. It doesn't have to be about doing a strategy. And then I sat there and I thought, what would it be like to just message people and say, hey, thinking about you. Do you want to come on this? And that felt freeing and the pulse came back. And this is how she can guide you through life, right? When people say, what do you mean your pussy tells you? And I'm like, that is exactly it. And coming back to the grief that you mentioned, I found so much body pleasure in grief.
Oh my God.
But it felt so wrong. It felt that so wrong. And actually it was really...
and sizzling and laughter and snot flying and then crying again. It was like, whoa, okay, this is like the whole orgasm, like up and down everywhere.
Just wanted orgasms, not another person. And again, not this rigorous touch, you know, that we think orgasm climax. It was more letting the body open and expand into this orgasm. And actual fact, one of the things that I share is my dad's grief helped me orgasm deeper.
Beautiful.
And then a day before my mum's cremation, so all family had come in, you know, as you can imagine, I haven't seen people for years. I knew that a magazine article was going to come out, but I didn't know when. And I'm walking through Marks and Spencer's. Normally I shop in Aldi, but that day it was Marks and Spencer's. And I look up and there on the front of Closer magazine is me. The front of Closer magazine, and my body went, oh my God. And it said, I knew the title. I wasn't keen on the title, but it is clickbait. It said, I have orgasms on the school run to beat stress. And I was like, well, there we go, Emma. You wanted to be seen and you wanted to share how orgasms can heal you. And now here you are the day before your mum's cremation on the front cover of Closer magazine. Let's go.
My frigging God, I love it. And of course, you know, I'm sure some of the relatives may have seen that and thought, well, whatever. Isn't it funny? Because you say that, yeah, the pussy knows. I used to walk around in t-shirts saying, the pussy knows. As an expert. Now, my 4 kids are Muslim. And this is after I divorced their father, who I'm also very good friends with still. And my sons were about 14 and 15, something like that. And they were just like, Mommy, our friends already think that you're a MILF and you walk around with this. I'm like, come on. Maybe I'm a little bit colorblind and, yeah, like tone deaf here. So... yeah, so that was like, oh, let's go, like really visible. And then that was like, okay, I'm actually, as a mother, I can also see their point of view. So I had to like kind of like close that down a little bit. And this is what I see, what happens to a lot of women who start this kind of work. All right, they're like, okay, I'm going to be out there. And then they get like a little pushback from someone. And then it's either like, well, fuck that, you know, I don't care what you think about it. It's like the pendulum that we swing on. And then after a while, they're like, oh, okay, I see what you mean here. And, all right, let's put some boundaries around it. Like you say, like when your son's not there, you walk around the house naked or do whatever you want. When he's there, maybe you have it a little bit more contained.
Yeah, and
we can do it.
People have often said to me, what does your boy think about this? And it's really interesting, isn't it? Because if I was an erectile dysfunction coach, I would be way more celebrated. When I was a pelvic floor coach, nobody asked me what my boy thought about it.
Oh, interesting.
Right? But so I'm like, okay, I have found that with my messaging, a lot of women, like we said, right, you know, like we said, a little bit triggered by me and the word orgasm. And when I say the word orgasm and pleasure, they are thinking of that quick release. So I'm definitely changing my messaging as my boy is getting older, like you said, you know, I am. And less about being out there with pussy and orgasm, although I am, and more like, actually, this is the way women were created Two, we can't say pause and stop and blah, blah, blah in the world that we live in, because women are like, well, I've got a mortgage. I live alone, but actually there's a way that we can do business and a way that we can do life, that we can still hustle, still get shit done, still be CEOs or business owners and boss it. Great. You don't have to stop, calm down, blah, 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 but you can actually learn to drop into your orgasmic state as a woman coming back from the school run. And that was the whole point of the thing. My friend said, but it reads like you're actually messing with your body on the way back from the school run in the car. And I was like, yes, I get that. But if they actually read the article, which I'm sure they would go straight to, they will go, oh, I
That's what she means. And sometimes, I mean, if you look at social media, the hooks are hooky and they're usually not at all what's happening in or this and that. It's like, oh, okay, that was just to grab your attention, because at the moment it's 2 or 3 seconds, right? Before you.
Exactly. That's how it's kind of played out.
Love it, because it's not an added to do thing. But it's kind of like maybe the first week, 2 weeks, you may need to put like a 3-minute timer on your phone, just so that you can start getting used to it, so your brain can start rewiring, that you can actually bring pleasure and this kind of breath that you do into your body to fuel it, to do all your other shit that you need to.
And then you can notice, like when I was in menopause, I used to wake up suicidal, dark thoughts. And the dark thoughts were, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. It kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And at the time I was going through some different stuff. And what I've realized now, because I still get that now, I've had mental health. They thought I had bipolar, da, 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 da. But what it is that there's a whisper within that tells me now, it's not that I don't want to be in this world anymore. It's that I don't want to be doing what I'm doing anymore. So that is a clear thing. And when the pussy is shut down, when she's not pulsing, when she's not throbbing, that is another clear way of going, I am not alive in my life right now. And then it's how we can, once you get that going, once I kind of, okay, I don't want to be in this life anymore, came up this morning. And I was like, well, that's really weird, because I'm on a call with you. I couldn't wait for this call. I'm doing some fun stuff. I'm speaking on stage. Well, where's this coming from again? And actually, it was when I sat down to the landing page today for this thing and she shut down. I was like, oh, and it was that what it meant. It wasn't like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't want to be here anymore. You can switch that round through the pussy work. Did that make sense?
Completely. And I think hypnotherapists and EMDR therapists, and we're all the same, and then all the body stuff that we've done. But you also see where it's that subconscious that just pulls us out immediately. And then it's like pulls us out from those heightened sensations of not wanting to feel like, oh, I don't want to be here. It's like, okay, what if I just sit with not wanting to be here? What does that show up like in my body? Can I stay with those heightened sensations? Because what happens in this work is you start feeling a lot of sensations, and people are like, oh, but that's not really pleasurable. I don't like it, so I'm going to shut it down. And I'm like, okay, so show me what is the sensation? Is it expanded? Is it buttery? Is it hot? Is it sharp? And they're like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. I'm like, don't. Just start tracking your body. Don't think about what it is. Just start tracking it. Stay with it. Take one more breath. Can you stay with it one more breath longer? That's all.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it has moved. Those intense sensations don't last very long.
Yeah. And I did years of cognitive behavior therapy for
oh my God, haven't we all done everything? And it's like,
yeah, for bulimia and body dysmorphia and lots of different stuff, and it was all, none of it was for the feminine body. None of it was, and now I'm just like, oh, yeah, She whispers to me all the time, which I know sounds crazy.
I love it. I love this crazy. And I think this is the perfect time where we tell our listeners where they can find you, what's coming up for you. Obviously, I'm going to meet you in 2 days' time in person. I'm really excited about that. Where can you're on Instagram? You have your own website. It's all in the show notes, but I want you to Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So on Instagram, it is MEMM_Fullwood _ And I've changed that so many times because I am the Yoni Queen, but Instagram just did not like it. The Yoni just kept getting flagged, you know. I was like, I really wanted to be called the Pussy Witch, but that kept getting flagged. So we've been through a few names. So I've decided to, you know, EMM_Fullwood_. That is Instagram.
And what's an easy way in for women that are listening to this and like, okay, I want to just work for and maybe in a group or maybe one-on-one?
Yeah. So in a couple of days' time, I actually have something called The Journey Back Home. And when that is recorded, that will be available for free to anybody. So if you're watching this and it's 2028 and you're like, oh, well, I've missed that now. It will actually be, there will always be something for free that you can go through to. And it is for that woman that's like, my brain isn't braining, my brain won't shut up. It's not that you're necessarily, your busy life is something that's too much. It's your busy mind that's too much, right? We can do the life. We're proving that. It's called A Journey Back Home. So that will be free. And then from there, you know, you can always reach out to me on DM and literally say, I've listened to the podcast with Juliet, the Scrumptious Woman Podcast, and this spoke to me or that spoke to me. And then we can create the conversation. Because it might be that woman's listening going, oh my God, my pelvic floor, or it was, you know, the body stuff or whatever. I think, you know, we can have all these landing pages and websites and really you get to know me and I get to know you and what you need when you connect. Yeah. When you connect, my email will be pop in the show notes. You know, as simple as I listen to the podcast, I will instantly know like what you've listened to. And because I really think that woman is craving to be seen, to be held, and connection to themselves and to other women. That's what we're all craving. And sometimes there'll be group courses. You know, I've got a retreat called Fuck This Shit Retreat in September. You know, and it's like, fuck the patriarchy. Fuck, I want to scream and howl at the file stuff that's coming out, you know, the war that's going on. You cannot calm me until I've raged a little bit, you know, and that's, you know, that's the process. So that's why it's called Fuck This Shit Retreat in September in West Sussex.
It's been a real pleasure. We've gone on a little orgasmic tour of pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And this is how I like to do my podcast so that people just get a real feel of the person in front of us.
I love it. Thank you.